Unstoppable. It's the first word that springs to mind. Unstoppable. First team in English history to win 4 league games on the bounce in the final 10 minutes of the game. Last goals of the game, late goals, winning the matches, drama. The fact that that has now protruded into the Champions League as well is, even from my perspective, as a United fan, I'll be honest with you, I hate you. I am so sick and tired of seeing Liverpool do this. I am so annoyed at seeing Liverpool do this. But I knew it was coming. You could feel the cop sucking that ball into the back of the net. And I'm just not surprised. Now, look, there are some things for Liverpool to be concerned about. Another game at Anfield, 2-0 up, losing a 2-goal lead. As we've already discussed, absolutely horrendous decision on every single level for the first goal from Atletico to Stan. I mean, absolutely ridiculous on just disgracefully bad. And I think everybody that knows football would agree. You know, if rivals agree, because they'll tell you that rivals will come out and actually tell you that it wasn't. But when you look at that, when you see that, you absolutely know categorically that this goal should have been disallowed. The ball goes behind. If it goes to the opposite corner, no, because there's a clear view for Alisson. But because it goes to Alisson's right, goes behind Griezmann, should have been ruled out. To act like he's not in his line of sight, that he's not in his way, that he doesn't distract him, I think is absolutely ridiculous on any level. That goal shouldn't have stood. But you've got to give Atletico credit. Resolute, play brilliant football. And they really did dominate Liverpool in the second half. Liverpool just sitting in. Defending quite well for the majority, by the way. And I had a whole different narrative about this game, which was even when a team was dominating Liverpool, they weren't really letting many crosses get through. When their lines were being broke, they were getting the right blocks in. They were going with their runners. They were sort of stopping Atletico from getting gilt-edged chances. And I think that was really key. The equaliser is a little fortuitous. Decent volley, takes a big deflection and goes in. And suddenly, Liverpool are staring down the barrel. And you know what was going to be written. Isak's first game was poor. Another game where Wirtz didn't deliver. Another game where they've conceded 2 goals. This time they've dropped points, albeit in the Champions League and not the league. But then just this... Is the word indomitable? I don't know what the word... I'm looking for a big word. I need a word. But this spirit that Liverpool summon. You remember that great scene in Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, when Aragorn jumps off the boat, him, Legolas, and Gimli, I think is the name of the dwarf, and the orcs and Orcide are about to fight, are sort of laughing, you free, and then those kind of weird ghosty characters come off and just overwhelm everyone. It's almost like Liverpool do that in these moments. We need a goal. What can we summon? What can we drag up from the depths of Liverpool's history to help? And it's almost like it's suddenly 11 versus 3 or 22 players versus 11. It feels like they've got the extra man, the crowd sucking the ball into the back of the net, and they just get the job done. Now, I'm going to end up sounding like a complete and utter broken record. Liverpool will improve across a 90-minute game. They are going to get better. I stand on that. I don't see a world where Liverpool keep allowing this to happen. I actually think that there's an element at the minute that was called out in the summer, which was that it's going to take a little bit of time for these new players to gel. I thought Isak, for instance, looked okay tonight. Again, some good moments, some good touches, but still not that cutting edge. Yes, he set up a really good chance for Mo Salah to kill the game and make it 3-1 that hit the post. But outside of that, you would expect a lot more from both of those players. They just need time to settle into the team. Similar with Frimpong. Did some good things in the game, but I saw so much more from him at Leverkusen. So I think Liverpool are struggling at the moment to find balance with their new players. But that all being said, we know how good a manager Slot is. We know what a brilliant and what a great togetherness the club has, the fans have. Their fans are not going to be jumping on their necks, calling them flops, doing crazy TikToks, doing mad videos. Their media and ex-pros are not going to start attacking them at the first sign of trouble to really unsettle everybody. It will very much be a case of Liverpool battening down the hatchets, a seize mentality, and they'll get their club, they'll get their players through it, and they work in wonderful unison in that way, the football club. They do, and I am jealous that my club doesn't have that ability anymore. We've lost it. It's gone. It's gone in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind, and it is. So I do think there's a little bit of a disjointed issue right now with Liverpool. They're not perfect. I think you'd be a lie to say that they are. But they ain't losing games. They've got Everton next. Everton might even score a goal at Anfield. They might even get 2 goals at Anfield. But you know, however many goals Everton score this weekend, you know and I know that Liverpool are scoring at least 1 more. It's going to happen. The mentality of this football club is elite. The bounce back ability is scary. And the real sobering fact, the bit that really keeps the rivals up at night, the element that scares people here, the bit that really worries them deep down in their core, is that we all know Liverpool are going to get better. We all know Liverpool are going to perform better. We all know Liverpool have got levels and levels and levels to go yet. We really, really do. And if we're being honest tonight, we have to call things out for what they are. Liverpool probably wouldn't have even suffered the half comeback. I say half comeback because they won in the end. I don't think they'd have suffered that had that first goal rightfully been ruled out for offside. I do agree with the first super chatter that we had on the Football Terrace that that goal would have been if that goal was taken out and it was 2-0, it would have been a very different half. They may have scored that goal, that volley, but it would have still been 2-1. So it would have been a very different ending to the game. But I just don't think Liverpool fans should be panicking. Opening night in the Champions League. Also a really good test tonight as well. A very, very, very good test tonight. And I say that because, and I want to make sure I articulate this in the right way. Atletico Madrid are a really decent team. There's a few Man United fans in my group chats during the game and they were like, oh, bring me Simeone. A little flippantly because I think they know he wouldn't come here. And my first response was, my players wouldn't work for him. They could never work that hard. But I think it's a real positive for Liverpool because your players have been put through it tonight. Your players have been tested. Your players have gone up against another good team. And you remember last season that it started off as a little serious, then it became a bit of banter, then it became a joke of a comment to make. The whole Liverpool haven't played anybody yet. I think that's something that you can't level against Liverpool. They've played some very good teams at the beginning of the season. Newcastle away, Arsenal at home, Ati today, and they've found a way. They've found a way, and it won't be long. It might take until the next international break, but at some point they're going to find their feet and they're going to start putting teams away. I felt they did that in the opening period of the game. Now, I want to give a shout out tonight as well to Mo Salah because it will probably go unnoticed with Van Dijk getting the winner and all the other moments in the game. But the second goal from him tonight, Liverpool fans, don't let that be forgotten. I cannot tell you the quality of that goal. It was just sublime on every single level. The strength, the deft touch, the composure, the balance. And do you know what really makes me laugh when it comes to Mo Salah is the amount of people that talk about Mo Salah as though he doesn't really have any great technique. He's not really that good a football player. He's not technically gifted. You can't score that goal. You cannot put that goal into the back of the net. You can't deliver what he did if you don't have an exceedingly high level of technical ability. You just can't. It is an impossibility on every single level. No doubt about that. So I wanted to give him a shout out because he absolutely deserved it. A few of the comments on the Football Terrace have said, Terry, what did you make of Wirtz tonight? Look, it wasn't the greatest game, wasn't the worst game either. You know, there were 5 key passes tonight, 5 opportunities created in the game. Okay, lots of touches, always involved. Wasn't a stinker. Wasn't, oh my God, it wasn't £100 million performance. Liverpool fans, just do the right thing here. Liverpool fans, just stick with your player. stand by his side. Rivals are coming for him. The media will come for him. You need to protect him. That is what you guys need to do. Your club, your fans need to go and protect him in that way. But I thought he did okay. I thought he did okay tonight. I don't think, again, I think the rating on the screen, I think, is absolutely fair. I think a 7 out of 10 is exactly what I would give him tonight. I truly would. And when it comes to Alexander Isak, look, not the greatest of nights from him, but equally, he wasn't really served up too much. He wasn't really given the chances. He didn't have much provided for him. Now, I know he's a player that can score his own goals. I know he's an individual that has that capability, has the chance to do that. But that doesn't happen every match for a number 9. Even the greatest number 9s of all time weren't creating sitters for themselves every single match. R9 didn't do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Henry didn't do it. Van Nistelrooy didn't do it. Rooney didn't do it. So I'm not going to put that expectation on Isak, especially when he's not kicked a ball for about 3 or 4 months. Decent debut. So much more to come for this man. There were some really good little bits of interplay and build-up play in the first half, and I think they'll get a lot more out of him. I personally, if I was Liverpool, I wouldn't start him against Everton. I would go the other way around at the forthcoming derby. I would start Hugo Ekitike, who I think has been excellent for Liverpool so far, and I would bring Alexander Isak on against tired legs in the last 30 to 20 minutes of the game, and just say to him, go out there and run your socks off. Go out there and just absolutely give everything you've got for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and see what you could do. I'd go the other way around, but I didn't think he was poor or anything. Again, people are going to go in, but I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it honest. I don't think he was as bad as people are making out. But Liverpool, as mentioned, look absolutely unstoppable at the minute. Not perfect, but absolutely unstoppable.